All right, after practice on a Wednesday, club heads off to Texas State tomorrow. We get to sit down with a very wrapped up Abby McIntyre. She's got both boot and ice on after practice today. So, Abby, first, let me just ask you this. I saw this on one of your social media accounts, and I used your full name a couple times last year. Whenever you'd like make a big scoring play, I like call you Abigail. Where did Abigail become Abby in your life?
Abigail, I love Abigail, but it's like a family friend thing. And I feel like Abby is just like, oh, like Abby, 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 like that's my name. That's what everyone goes by. But if I'm in trouble or if something like happens, they're like, Abigail. I'm just like, oh my goodness, something big's happening. So it's just, I mean, it's always been Abby, but people who are really close to me, people who I guess like allow call Abigail, they call me Abigail.
I just thought it rolled off the tongue really great when you did something good. So I'll use it when you do something good. Um, what would you say would be some of the, give me one or two ups and one or two downs from last weekend that you guys have tried to improve upon? What were some of the things in Wisconsin you felt like the club did particularly well, and what were some of the things you feel like this weekend need to improve on?
I think we did a lot of good things, and I think we did some not so good things. But some good things that we did were together. When we did play together, we were aggressive and we just weren't thinking about anything. We were just going. We were just doing things, and I feel like the chemistry was there, and we just like trusted each other. And the not so good things was when we weren't playing like with chemistry, we just kind of got in like a rut, and we just took everything that we didn't do and this week in practice just focus on that, like serving pressure and serve receive, like capitalizing on what we needed to do with that. So
I think by now everybody has heard the Aaron Rodgers thing, but take me through that one more time. I want to ask you. I mean, what was actually the scene? Who were some of the first ones where it kind of clicked? Oh my goodness, it's the Green Bay Packers. Like, how did it evolve there at the first of realizing it was them?
well, yeah, it's funny because it was a long day of traveling, so everyone was like, get on the bus, like, we're going home or this hotel. And I was on the bus and I saw a couple of the girls like run out and like get out and like look, and there was a crowd of like big old guys like walking into the airport, and someone was like, "Is that Aaron Rodgers?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it is!" And he wasn't as big like as I thought he would be, but like he was, all dressed up like professionally looking, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is Aaron Rodgers!" And he was so nice. Like he let us take pictures with him, talk to him, and he told us good luck. So he was very friendly.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to fess up on this one or not, but was there anybody in the team that was like, Aaron Rodgers? Who's what? Who? Is there anybody who like didn't know who they were?
Gosh. Well, I feel like he's pretty popular. I mean, his brother was on The Bachelor, but I don't think there was everyone yeah, everyone knew.
Yeah, I just wondered if anybody was like, what? I didn't keep up with football. Um, Against South Dakota State, 12 kills on only 15 swings, sixth highest in-match attack percentage in SFA history. Did you know that you hadn't erred as you went into the late part of that match?
I, I didn't. I wasn't even thinking. Like, Coach had given us a great like talk before the game, and I feel like everyone on that game was just clicking on all levels. Like my team just really performed, and I was able to get those results because of my setter and because we were just all like clicking on all cylinders. And I feel like I really wasn't thinking of how I was doing, just how we were doing as a team, and I think we just had fun and just got after it.
After the match, did Charlie come up to you and tell you about the record?
Yes, I feel like it was Coach Humphreys, and she was just going down the list, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, did I really do that? Like, did I do that? That's weird." But yeah, I mean, credit to my whole team, not just me. It was my setters, and it was awesome to get that result. But I couldn't have done it without them. So
Yeah, it was so strange because the media guide had just been put out. I had just the night before, I had just read the section on the record. So when I kept seeing the stats go up, I'm like, oh, if she gets close to 800, she's going to set a record. Um, early on, we've three matches and three to go here in the next couple of weeks. But early on, you are the kill leader on the team. and you just talked about focusing more on team results, obviously, than yourself. But is that a banner you're willing to wear? I mean, and when people ask me, who I think the kill leaders are going to be, a lot of times I mention your name or Justice. Is that something that's sort of a personal goal to sort of lead the team in scoring?
I mean, sure, it could be a personal goal, but I mean, my focus really is like I love, doing things for the team and like being a positive like person like on the court. So I try to like be as encouraging as possible, and like even if like people are making mistakes or if I'm making a mistake, just like look at it and say like, hey, like next ball, or like what can we do? Just be that encouraging like voice.
Now that you're sort of anchored over there on the right side, of course, that means that blocking on the pin, you've got a lot of the stronger left side attack coming at you from the opposition. What have you done, or what have you thought about now that you've kind of anchored yourself these last season and a half on the right in terms of improving blocking at the net?
Blocking. Okay. So what I like to do is I'm not a very good blocker, and D-Hump gets on me a lot, which she should. But I like to cheat inside, and I don't like to help out with the middle. But I'm learning to help out with the Bs and to get all the way out to the line and make sure that I'm protecting my setter and not letting them just bang away at the line. But yeah, just focusing on like my footwork and who's hitting, who do I have on the other side of the net, and what they're running.
I know we're focused so much on going forward and we're so early in the year, but and I had this question in mind even before you had the boot on, but take us through a little bit last year about the injury. Remind folks actually what it was that you hurt, and what do you feel like you kind of learned from the back half of the season where you weren't able to play and you had to watch?
Okay, so I felt something in my left foot, and it wasn't a pain, but after like a couple games, gradually it was kind of just bothersome, and I didn't really think anything of it, but it ended up being a stress fracture. So basically I was out for the remainder of the season. But being out, it really taught me that you can still be a part of like the game. Obviously, like you have different eyes like of the court, like what's open, like what shots your hitters have, and if someone's doing something and it's not working, then you can like be encouraging and tell them like, hey, this might work, like this is where your defense is on the other side. I mean, also you can be like an encourager, so just different stuff like that.
I remember just from watching you play that right before you got hurt, that it really, especially offensively, you had really started to get going. And I went back and looked at some things, and right before you got hurt, there were 17 kills against McNeese and 14 at Incarnate Word, and a career-high 18 over in Abilene, 14 versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Did you feel like that, on offense at least, you'd kind of settled in, and have you kind of thought to yourself, well, that's where that's the level I need to get back to now that I'm more healthy?
Yeah, sophomore year, it was awesome, not being a freshman, not playing like a freshman, and settling into that. But honestly, it taught me a lot, like being off. Like I appreciated the game more, and I feel like I kind of fell in love with it more because I got to come back from this injury and appreciate like, oh, okay, like I can do that. Like that's what I can do. So let me work to get back where I was last year.
It's got to also be good. Again, we're looking a little far forward, but we did try. I mean, we were kind of racing the clock trying to get you back last year. And there was, when we got down the tournament time, there was, a match or two, I remember, where there was just a set here or there. It's got to be a good feeling this year to know, hey, when we get back to Conway, I'll be at full force and be able to contribute in the conference tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good feeling, being out there on the court, being a part of everything. I'm just going to try to focus on staying healthy and do the best I can with treatments and everything to contribute to a successful season.
Even though you did miss a lot of time there after October and into early November last year, the conference obviously remembered your name. You got honored preseason second team All-Southland Conference. How did that kind of make you feel when you saw that accolade pop up? It's like, okay, people have recognized I'm a contributor, and despite being injured, still have that expectation of being a leader.
I was really surprised. Like, I saw that on social media and I was like taken back from it. And I was like, wow, like, I guess people, remembered like how I played and stuff. And obviously, this year, it's something to kind of step up, like, use as motivation. Like, hey, like, I can be like one of those players for my team and stuff like that.
For folks that are watching this and also cover the conference, the second team All-Southland Conference picks this year were really, really strong. Samantha Anderson at UCA, Jordan Vaughn at Sam Houston State. She's a very talented hitter. Bailey Banks at HBU. She'll have a great year. And then Morgan Carlson and Madeline Dowd at Corpus Christi and Abby were the second team. That's about as strong a second team as I can remember. Let's talk about last. And I always ask questions like this. There are two folks that are very meaningful to you that are always in the stands. We always see them, all of us, the staff and everything. We all know them, and I just want to say on camera, they've always been so kind to me. But talk me through that relationship, that familiar bond, and how they've been such a part, because I've seen them be a very big part of your volleyball here at SFA.
Yes. My mom, she's probably one of the sweetest people that you'll ever meet. She always has a smile on her face, always has something encouraging to say. And I feel like I've gotten a lot of that, like, positivity and encouragement from her. And it's funny because my dad, he's the reason why I started playing volleyball. He was, when I was younger, a big sports fan, and he wanted me to get into basketball, softball, golf, something that he knew about, and he didn't know about volleyball. So I said, I'll get into volleyball. He doesn't know anything about it. He can't tell me what to do. So he's the reason I'm playing volleyball, basically.
Interesting that you would say that, because honestly now, all these years later, it seems like he does know a lot about volleyball now.
He does. He keeps along with, like, the stats and stuff. He literally tallies, like, oh, you had this many kills and this many errors. And after the game, I'm like, Dad, how did I do? So, yeah, he's really involved with it.
He's both years you've been here, I've noticed he's really into the games. So the Jacks leave out tomorrow morning for San Marcos. First time actually that SFA will have gone to Strahan Coliseum since Texas State left the Southland Conference in 2011. First match is against Texas State at 10:30, and then viewers, make sure you're in Shelton Gym. Home opener next Tuesday against Louisiana Monroe, and I have inside info that is Abby McIntyre's 21st birthday. Am I correct?
Yes, it's my birthday. I'm so excited.
So we will attempt to have a big birthday party in Shelton Gym and celebrate with a win. Abby, thanks so much. I'll see you over in San Marcos. Thanks for sitting down.
Thank you.